Final week of BYU football spring practices here. Mitch, Harper, Matt Baiamonte inside the indoor practice facility. And I think there's a real kind of leader, in my opinion, of the third string quarterback. That's Trayson Bourget, who had a big pass today.
Yeah, he had a really nice pass on the run, intermediate to deep ball to tight end Ray Paolo. And then I also thought he had a couple nice passes to Devin Downing. Downing probably had the grab of the day over the middle, laying out, making a nice grab. And Bourget at times has looked really good. I think he has nice touch on the deep ball. He's been accurate. I would agree with that, Mitch. I think that he has a really good grasp on that third spot right now.
Feels like Jake Retzlaff's number one. Coach haven't said that. They've said it's neck and neck. But Kalani did note last week at Alumni Day that Jake's a little bit ahead in terms of knowing the playbook because he's been around it longer. Gary Bohannon probably too. And then I think Bourget is probably that third quarterback for BYU. All the quarterbacks today had green jerseys, no contact for all of them. That was a little bit of a change because in the past, in recent weeks, it's been contact for the third string quarterback and down on the depth chart. You mentioned Devin Downing. I thought that was nice to see him make some plays. Downing's a guy that was a heralded recruit out of American Fork High School, pretty much kind of out of sight, out of mind last year, but he's got talent, he's got ability. He could be a guy that's, you probably don't want to see him in the fall because you got a lot of proven commodities up there, but it kind of speaks to some of the depth BYU has at wide receiver.
Yeah, for sure. He's definitely behind that core group, and he's behind Parker Kingston and Cody Epps and those guys, JoJo Phillips even. But after that, I mean, from what we've seen in spring football, he's right in that next wave. You don't want to see him this fall for sure, but down the road, he looks to be someone who is really sure-handed, makes a variety of catches. You got to like what you have in that wide receiver room right now.
A guy that's earned a lot of praise during spring ball from guys like Kalani Sitake and defensive coaches Tommy Parasis. At safety, it appeared he was kind of running with the first team, what it looked like the first team defense on the back end of that safety spot. So he's a freshman. I think that could be making an impact right away for BYU. He enrolled during the winter semester and has been ready to go. Caught up with Coach Sione Buha here at practice today, talking about the defensive tackles. He's been really impressed with John Nelson. He felt like putting John Nelson at D-tackle last year gave BYU the best 11 on the field. They're going to keep him there at D-tackle, and I think that might be where his pro career lies at defensive tackle.
He was severely missed last year. When he went down, it was hard to get pressure on the quarterback. That doesn't normally come from the defensive tackle position, but he's got that versatility where he can apply pressure. Great interview on Cougar Sports Saturday, too, with John Nelson a few weeks ago. Shameless plug to the podcast. We've got a bevy, a smorgasbord, Mitch, of interviews of spring ball on that podcast feed, but John Nelson, critical piece to this defense.
Going back to the offensive side, there was a big play also from another tight end, Mata'ava Ta'ase. He had a big catch as well today. Some other notes from the offensive side. Pokayawa Hunga, a freshman running back. He continues to make plays. I'd say probably he's maybe the fourth guy maybe at running back, because you look at L.J. Martin, you've got Miles Davis, you got Falau Ropati. I think Hunga's probably in that fourth spot, and we've seen in years past where BYU digs into the fourth, fifth string guy or say, hey, there's a linebacker, let's get him over here to running back. It's happened many times, so you got to have depth at that running back spot. Parker Kingston on some jet sweep action. Again, we see kind of a very shell of what they're installing. When they get to the close scrimmages this past weekend or what they've ran in the past, that's what they are going to run this fall. But here we just kind of see the glimpses, the flashes of what these players can do, and we see some playmaking ability every once in a while.
Speaking of a flash, this is a deep cut, but it was a nice glimpse. Gary Bohannon, you noted Jake Retzlaff being ahead of him. He had a deep ball to Chase Roberts. It was an overthrow, but it was a nice ball. And for someone with the shoulder concerns, you want to see that they can make those type of throws. So not completed. It's not going to be on the highlight reel, but it was just a little reassuring to see, okay, maybe his shoulder is further ahead than we thought. At least that was my thought on that throw. It was a nice-looking throw from Gary Bohannon.
It's a good pull, and I kind of thought the same thing because it exploded out of his arm. Like, it wasn't underthrown. It was kind of a rocket, and it was like, okay, he's got some juice there on that shoulder, and he could throw the deep ball if necessary. Another side note on the safeties, Talon Alfrey, another safety, continues to play well. I think in spring ball is going to be in the top of the mix along with the guys like Micah Harper in that safety group. Zion Allen, he made a nice stop at the line of scrimmage on Devin Downing. He's a defensive back that's getting opportunities because Jacob Robinson's going to be a starter there. But outside of that, there's some guys that are banged up at that cornerback spot. Zion Allen, a second-year guy making the most of his opportunities.
On the note of safeties, I caught up with Ethan Slade. We're going to have a great show for you on Saturday, Cougar Sports Saturday. Lots of interviews from the players in spring football. Ethan noted Talon Alfrey. I asked him, hey, which guys are going to be making plays in the fall? He noted Talon Alfrey, and I thought this was a noteworthy addition to the question. Zay Bagna. He thinks that Zay is way ahead of where he was last year, primed for a big year. How big would that be for this defense to have the edge, applying pressure, getting some sacks? That would be big time if he can deliver.
It would be huge, and pass rush is going to be a huge storyline for this group, and they have to deliver. And going back to my conversation with Sione Buha, he feels like John Nilsson can be a force in the middle of the defensive line, and then you got Tui Saili, Danny Saili in there too to plug the gaps. This defensive line should be better, Matt. I'm starting to believe a little bit. I've said that I feel like this can be a top 4 defense in the Big 12. I do believe that. They need that because I think the offense is going to have some ups and downs. There's going to be some days in games where they put up some nice numbers, but there could be some days where it goes sideways and they only maybe end up with 13 points. So defense has got to be lights out each week. I think they're making some significant strides in that area. Another deep cut. Saw BYU signee Jet Nilsson here at practice today. Tall kid. He's going to be someone to keep an eye on down the road in the future for BYU. Keanu Hill caught a pass over the middle, but all in all, BYU wrapping up spring practice. They'll close up shop this Saturday. We'll have a bunch of breakout interviews and content from here in Provo. So check out all of our stuff on KSLSports.com and KSL News Radio. Matt Baiamonte, Mitch Harper. Check out all of our work on KSL Sports.